Somehow it seems life's not amusing anymore, but in my dreams, close your eyes. Somehow it seems somebody's locking up the door, but in my dreams, close your
Okay, so this morning I went on a fishing trip. It was a blast, man. But yeah, like this piece of shit fucking system, man. I decided I'm gonna return it. I'm not putting up with this cheap shit. It's only $25, but I just can't get the sound right, man. You gotta go in on your equalizer and you gotta adjust every single thing you watch with the equalizer on your computer. But yeah, so I'm getting rid of it. Like I say, it's $25, but I think I have time to return it. I'm gonna go ahead and return it. This is the Logitech Z313, I think. The other one that broke was Z323 or something like that. I'm gonna go ahead and get on the internet and buy that one because this one, it's just the speakers just suck. And then, like I say, there's not a knob on the back of the amplifier or the subwoofer or whatever. It just sucks. I'm getting rid of it because it like hurts my ears, man. Because you got to sit there and adjust everything, and it takes a long time to adjust it for your liking. So I'm getting rid of it. But yeah, that other system I only paid $40 for, and that was back several years ago. And now they're like $75 for that other system. But maybe I could get it cheaper. The Z23, 323, I mean. Yeah, because they still make them. But anyway, so this morning, but yeah, I mean, even the speakers look like cheap pieces of shit. They're not that real hardcore, tall, heavy. You know what I mean? They make everything so freaking cheap. And then when I went into the health food store, I always buy that yellow bag of almond bread, which tastes like ass, but I just don't know what else to eat, so I just, eat it just for extra calories or whatever. And I'm gonna try the cinnamon raisin. I just haven't done it yet, but they don't carry that, so I'll have to order that on the internet. But yeah, I just happened to look at the ingredients, and I noticed the second ingredient instead of, well, I actually picked up 2 bags, and I noticed it said 130 calories. And I'm like, no, because it always had 160 calories for one slice. And so I looked at the ingredients, and the second ingredient, instead of almond butter, or the third ingredient, or whatever, the first ingredient is eggs, which that's kind of weird and odd. But anyway, so the third ingredient is supposed to be like almond butter, and one of the packaging, it said that third ingredient was some kind of flour, cassava flour, or something like that. No, some kind of potato starch flour or something like that. And I'm like, crap. Well, I don't want to be eating crap, if they're changing the ingredients and crap. So I went ahead. I still was. They only had 3 or 4 bags up there, but I was still able to buy 2 bags, with those normal ingredients that I've always bought before. The new. I don't know if they're gonna stop making the other ingredients. Where it's 160 calories. But anyway, the new ingredients, or if they're gonna start, making that formula or whatever, those slices only have 130 calories. Because I always read everything, and yeah, so I immediately noticed, I'm thinking, why does it say 130 calories? And then I started looking at the ingredients. Okay, well, anyway, I'm probably gonna stop buying it all together, and I'll just eat almonds. Because I just don't like eating shit if they're gonna be fucking with the ingredients and changing them on me. And besides, it tastes like ass anyway, and it's very expensive bread. So I'll probably just eat the almonds. If I don't eat almonds, then I'll eat, a potato. just to get extra calories or whatever, instead of the, I mean, I can eat sweet potato. If I don't eat the almond bread, I'll eat sweet potato and white potato to make up for the difference or whatever. But yeah, like the raisin and cinnamon, it may be good, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, I haven't tried it, and I don't know if I'm allergic to raisins and cinnamon, so I'm afraid to try anything because I'm allergic to so many things. And yeah, which is kind of weird, you know, because you know, eggs is a major allergen, but I'm allergic to chicken, but I'm not allergic to eggs. I mean, it's just all a scam. This whole food allergy stuff is a scam. And the market and stuff, it's just all a scam. Because like I said, most people have a million, they may have 2 or 3 mainstream allergies, but then they're also going to have millions of other non-mainstream allergies, like allergic to corn or watermelon or distilled water or some shit like that. So anyway, yeah, I guarantee you there's somebody out there that's allergic to distilled water. I guarantee it. If you could be allergic to watermelon, corn, rice, wheat, potato, white potato, lettuce, spinach, you could be allergic to freaking distilled water. Okay, so yeah, okay, so this morning, man, I freaking had this long sexual, like, romantic, well, not really, well, yeah, it was a sexual romantic scenario with a person. And like I said, I get these all the time, and they're like such a freaking blast. And yeah, it was sexual. I mean, we weren't like completely naked or whatever, but it was sexual. And I know what the alien. I was probably Joel that gave me this experience. I kind of know what he was trying to mock, the person that I was with. I kind of know, but anyway, before I went into the person's house and she, she lived in a really awesome house, like totally awesome house, and but before all of that, I let's see, yeah, it started out, it was kind of cloudy outside, and it started out there, I was just like walking around where there was like a big, I don't know if it was a lake or a big pond, but anyway, it was just like a big lake, I guess. And I had my fishing pole, and I threw, and it was like so cool. I mean, I did every single step in the scenario. Like, I threw it out there, and then I immediately caught a fish, but it was like a really odd looking long perch, because I used to catch perch all the time at the park. And but in the scenario, the first fish I caught, so I basically went fishing first before all the scenario started. I mean, before the sexual scenario started, up at the person's house, which was just a few yards away or whatever. And it almost seemed like it was kind of on a hill, the house was. But anyway, but before all that, I went fishing, and I was by myself fishing. And like I say, the first time I threw it out there, I felt it grab and everything. It was so cool. I reeled it in. I even took the fish off. I threw it back in the water. I did every single little intricate detail in this experience. But the perch was odd looking. And I have caught pretty big perch before, but in the scenario, it was odd looking. It was very long, skinny perch. The first one I caught. Then I took the hook out very easily. I threw it back in there, and then I threw it back in there, and I caught a smaller perch. And this was a much smaller perch, and then I threw it back in there. And then this long sexual scenario started, and I'm not gonna try to go through everything, but it lasted a long time, and this is kind of funny. At some point, like, I told the person that I was dating or whatever, I told the person that I was allergic to everything, and I think that was before. Yeah, that was before when we were. I can't remember where we were going, but we finally like went outside, and we were going to take like a little trip outside. And I remember thinking, well, it's 3 p.m. and it's sunny. I don't know if I could deal with the sun straight up at 3 p.m. like that. Maybe too hot for me or whatever. But anyway, so I was kind of nervous about that because I didn't want to be walking around in the heat, at 3 p.m. But anyway, so yeah, after we had all this sexual scenario and stuff, then we like went, like I say, she lived on a big old hill, man. And then then she, then we all, but there was a couple other people we were with at that point though. After we had all the fun and everything, like I said, we went down to the ground level and started walking outside, and I just remember thinking, you know, I don't know if I could handle the heat, but then I knew it was going to be 5 o'clock and it was going to start getting dark. So then I knew I could probably handle it or whatever. But I can't remember where we were going. But we were going to walk somewhere. And I guess that's why I told her I was allergic to everything. Because I knew we couldn't really go out to eat or anything. And, yeah. But that's why I told her that or whatever. Because we were thinking about going and eating somewhere. Or I was afraid she was going to ask, you know, like, let's go eat somewhere or whatever. But yeah, it was a cool scenario. The fishing part was like really cool. I mean, it's pretty like virtual reality and everything. And there's some other weird parts too, but you know, like just other details and stuff. But I edit a lot of stuff out or whatever. But let me think. That other part. So when I was up in the house, it was just me and the other person. But like I said, but then when we were gonna go like walking outside, there was like 2 or 3 other people with us, and it seemed like my sister was one of them, and the other 2, I can't remember exactly. But it seemed like we were gonna walk either back down to the pond or just kind of go on a little walk. But anyway, that was pretty fun. But I get scenarios like this all the time. But yeah, there was some other stuff, but I edit a lot of stuff out. But yeah, but the fishing part, man, that was like so cool. I mean, it was so like detailed and intricate, and I totally remember every little intricate part that I did, you know, like when I fished and everything. You think I'd remember smelling it, but I don't remember, I didn't actually smell the fish, because, you know, fish, they have that odor, you know, fish straight from the pond, they totally have an odor. But anyway, the other experience, where my grandma showed up, when I was walking around that burger restaurant, I think I forgot to say, like, the entryway, the closed off big entryway before you get into the burger joint, like when I looked at the wall, it looked like really weird and medieval. Like it was like all rock looking, like rock. And then there was like stains on it, like colored stains. Like, I don't know if it was paint or what it was. It was just gross and dirty. And it looked like medieval. Now, in real life, that building, it is a really old building. And it's as old as me or older, and but it's Hobby Lobby. But in the scenario, you know, it was a burger joint, a burger restaurant. And it was smaller in the scenario, the burger restaurant. And but anyway, that was the scenario where my grandma showed up, and it was like so cool. But anyway, I think I forgot to say about the wall part. And like I say, in real life, there is like you go inside, and there is like a big long, you know, entryway that you could just kind of stand around before you actually go inside the doors inside the store. So the aliens were trying to copy off that. It's been a while since I've been to Hobby Lobby, but I used to go to the grocery store, because it used to be a grocery store when I was little. I used to go there all the time. And yeah, so the alien was trying to copy that, because the burger joint in the scenario was the same situation. You know, it had that big long entryway, hallway, whatever, I don't know what the hell you call it, before you even open the doors to get into the burger joint. And like I say, when I looked at the walls, it just looked like medieval or something. It was really weird. Okay, so then, let's see, what was this other scenario? Okay, I gotta hurry up. Okay. Huge ants. Oh yeah, and then a few days ago, oh my god, I was just like walking around this mansion forever and ever and ever and ever, and it was so exhausting. Well, it was so exhausting because I was sleeping like so good and so deep and so lethargic, like, yeah, I was sleeping like so awesome. And I was walking around this mansion for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And it wasn't quite understood. I knew I was going to live there, but it wasn't quite understood if I was going to buy it or if it was going to be given to me. That wasn't quite understood. But anyway, it was basically my Aunt Elaine's mansion, and she had to leave. This is all into the scenario. She had to leave, you know, because, you know, in real life, you know, my uncle died. And in the scenario, you know, that was the same situation too. My uncle had died and everything in the scenario, just like in real life. And in the scenario, that's why my aunt had to leave the mansion to go live in a smaller place. And this mansion was one of the biggest ones I've been in. This one, and then there was that other one that was like one of the biggest that I've been in. And but I mean, walked around forever and ever and ever, looking at every single little intricate thing because she left a bunch of stuff behind. She wasn't about to take all of her stuff. You know, she left a bunch of crap like behind on purpose. But anyway, so it was my huge aunts and uncle's mansion, and I walked around the kitchen and I saw like behind a glass case this big hunk of bread with plastic wrap around it, and I remember thinking, wow, that's that bread that I love that we always used to eat when I was younger. We always used to eat it when we would go visit her, and blah 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 blah. But I knew that it would be old and I wouldn't be able to eat it. You know, I knew that it had been sitting there a while, so that was kind of funny. In real life, she didn't really give us bread, but but I went to check out like every single room, like bathrooms, all the bedrooms. Okay, but anyway, I did forget like throughout the mansion as I was looking at a bunch of little intricate details that she still had in the mansion. I already forgot a lot of it, but except the bread. I didn't forget the bread, and then the one bedroom that I went into, it was pretty large, and I was looking at both double beds, and I was like checking out the comforters, and I remember thinking, you know, they've probably been on there a while. They probably need to be washed. It wasn't a real dirty looking room or anything. It's just that I knew the comforters probably, you know, were kind of dusty and stuff. And I was trying to figure out, one of them was dark colored comforter. The other one, I can't remember so much, but there was two beds. And my mom popped into the scene and everything, and she was helping me like look around and blah, 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 blah. And I remember thinking I was thinking, which bed am I going to sleep on? And there was a couple of dressers in there as well, but it was just like two small dressers and like two beds, and that was about it. And I was trying to figure out, you know, which bed I'm going to sleep in. And I remember thinking, you know, I didn't know if I wanted to sleep in that big old mansion by myself. But anyway, so, but like I say, I don't know why I forgot so many, you know, because I mean, I walked around this mansion forever, and I was staring down at all the little intricate details, all the little intricate things that was in it. But the only thing I remember is the, you know, glass case, the bread, the two beds, the dressers. I should remember so much more, but for some reason, a bunch of the little details escaped me. But anyway, okay, so this is the funny part. At some point, I went outside and I started to sit in the car. I started to sit in a car with, okay, I can't remember whose car it was. I think, it wasn't my car, I don't think. It was, okay, but this is the really weird part. Okay, so I went outside and I was sitting in a car, and it was Milas Kuna's car. And she was real nice and down to earth. I was thinking, wow, I'm like, so, like, I don't really remember talking to her directly. It's just that she was just there. And I was just, but she seemed really nice and down to earth. And I was shocked, you know, because she's like famous and rich and everything. And it's like she wanted to buy the mansion. But that part wasn't real clear. Like, I wasn't sure if that was really the intention or not. The other funny part was I started to get sad and I started crying. I think because I knew my aunt had moved out already of the mansion. For some reason, I was sad about that. The aliens have done that before, like made me cry and stuff in my scenarios, but not in a long time. Yeah, and so, yeah, it wasn't real clear the scenario as to why I was crying, but I think it was because I was sad that my aunt wasn't going to be in the mansion anymore. But, yeah, and this is funny, too. When I was sitting in the car, it almost was like I was in the area of right there by the driveway of my mom's house in real life. You know, that was kind of funny because, you know, the mansion was huge. There's no way the mansion could have even fit on that lot. But like I say, at some point, I went outside after I walked around the mansion for freaking hours and hours and hours, and I was sitting in the car. And yeah, it was the car. It was Milas Kuna's car. But here's the really funny part. Milas Kuna, she was a very light-skinned black woman. But it was still her. That's the really weird part. But of course, now that I'm awake, I realize that wasn't even close to being her. But she had like similar sweet personality. But like I say, in the scenario, it was Milus Kunis or whatever, but I don't know if the aliens got confused or what. But she was like a light-skinned black woman in the scenario. The other cool thing was at some point, I went outside on the premises and there were like, oh yeah, here's the other funny part. There were like 3 to 4 other women standing around near a tree. And now, I couldn't say exactly in relation where this swimming pool was in relation to, when we were sitting in the car, which almost seemed like in the at the edge of the driveway, at my mom's house in real life. But anyway, yeah, so there were 3 other like women standing around near a tree, and I heard a screeching sound in the tree. And I was like, oh, that is the owl that had been living in that tree for a long time. It was the same old owl that had been living there for a long time. Or that was the thought process in the scenario. I reached my hand inside the tree and grabbed the owl. And it was like a funny little furry owl that was 14 inches tall. I started cuddling with the owl, and I placed him down on the ground, and I fed him some hard cat food looking stuff. And other women were trying to pet him, but then the owl started growling, so that was kind of funny. And over to the left was a huge swimming pool, and then I jumped in and I started swimming like an expert. And I found it funny how I was just sort of gliding, floating through the water almost effortlessly. I was just kind of floating and gliding and moving around in the water. It was really funny. Oh, and the swimming pool was freaking packed full of people. I don't know where all these people came from, but it was packed full of people. But it was sort of like the pool that was supposed to be on the premises of the mansion, apparently. But anyway, that was kind of cool. I think the aliens got the idea, because I had the word swimfly in my brain. And so I think that's why when they put me in the pool, I started just kind of flying around and floating around, like gliding around, like almost like as if I was being propelled or something. I think that's where they got that idea, because I have that one video where Joel made me like swim fly in the air. It was a blast. Oh, okay. So yeah, so that's the end of that one, but that was a freaking blast, and it was like so exhausting. Well, because I just happened to sleep really good that morning, and it was just very, very, very exhausting. Well, like this morning I had a fun scenario, and I still slept really good, but it wasn't like totally, I wasn't like, it wasn't exhausting, like when I woke up, like, ugh, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like so exhausting, but it's just because I slept so good the other day. Yeah, because that's because I probably had 2 to 3 days of shitty sleep. Because I've been reacting to multiple chemical, smells and stuff. I'm getting better though, but I was still reacting from some of the smells. But now I'm kind of getting over it now. And so I think if I start reacting, 2 or 3 days, and then I sleep like shit 2 or 3 days, then by the 4th day it's like, oh, I'll sleep so groggy and deep, and I'll get such good experiences and stuff. But anyway, okay, wait a minute. Joel, OBE fly ride. Okay, and I was asking Joel, this is the Joel experience. Abduction by Joel. The reptilian alien. I was asking him to take me on a fly ride. I was just titling it Fly Ride, take me on a ride, to go flying astrally in the air and stuff. And I was phrasing it like that, take me on the fly ride. And on TV, they have this like fly ride thing in Branson. I think it's a simulation type of thing. But anyway, so that's where I got the idea. So I was telling Joel to take me on a fly ride. Okay, so he did, and he abducted me the same way he did the other day, where it was all botched and everything. He abducted me the same way, where it's like he kind of like takes my whole consciousness out of my top of my head, but my astral body and everything goes with it, and then you start traveling, really fast, like traveling, and then boom, and then he finally just kind of plops you down into the virtual reality scenario. So he abducted me in the same way, except this time, after he abducted me, he plopped me down inside at the top of the ceiling, near the ceiling of a dome, I don't know what to call it. dome. And I don't know what it was, a building like that. I don't know exactly what it looked like on the outside, but on the inside, exactly like that. It was like a fly ride theme park, so to speak. But he didn't tell me that. He didn't say, when he plotted me the scenario, he just basically, was telling me, do what you want, fly around. He didn't actually say, I'm taking you on a fly ride. And he didn't really call it an amusement park or anything like that. That's just what I'm calling it. Or theme park, I mean. I'm just kind of calling it a fly ride. But that's all it was. You just, he dropped me down right there. Okay, see here? He plopped me down just right here. And I stayed near the ceiling the whole time. Back and forth, back and forth. I flew back and forth, back and forth. Swim flying, so to speak. Just like, all astrally, no gravity. And I did a backflip like twice, and I got stuck. And I was like, ugh, and I was dangling upside down. Twice I tried to do backflips, and I got stuck midway. And then eventually I righted myself out. I straightened myself out, and I started flying back and forth. I went this way a few times, that way a few times. And like I said, I was always near the top, near the ceiling. I never did fly down here or anything. It was always right up here, inside the dome. And the funny thing is, and when I came back, when I went that direction, I came back this direction, I all of a sudden saw this like black hose that was just kind of floating there in midair. And I was like, oh, that's kind of like a vacuum cleaner, I guess, for them to clean the air and stuff, to clean the dust out of the air. So that was kind of funny. And then over to the right, I saw this big old mirror. And there's some sexual stuff too in this scenario, but I always edit all that stuff out. But yeah, he pretty much always put sexual stuff, but not all the time, because I know now that it was Joel that took me to the blue igloo. That had to have been him, because of the horse and because of the dome. He's always doing a lot of dome things now. And because of that Freemason shrine mosque, that's a dome, and he took me in there. Actually, that one wasn't sexual though. Like I say, that's why it's confusing, because sometimes I don't know if it's really him giving me the experience, because sometimes he doesn't do sexual stuff, but nine times out of 10 he does. And but yeah, it was like, oh yeah, and like I say, this facility, this fly ride, it was as big as a football field or longer. And like I say, I know he gave me that one to the blue igloo. But first, he took me around the mall and then took me to the blue igloo. Or took me inside the blue igloo. Which that was the coolest thing ever. But anyway, and in that scenario, that blue igloo scenario, he put a horse, a trolloping horse, hologram horse or whatever, with the Indian, some kind of Indian on it or whatever. But that experience is on here. But okay, so after, okay, hold on. Let me make sure I said everything. I'm just about done. I gotta hurry up because this is gonna shut off. Okay, I flew back and forth many, many times. And like I say, I tried to do a complete backflip. And I have done complete backflips when I was out of body before. But this time, I think I was being controlled. That's why I couldn't, or he was controlling me, so I couldn't do a complete backflip because he didn't want it like that. But I've been out of body before where I have done complete backflips or front flips completely. But in this experience, for some reason, he wouldn't let me do a complete, he made me get stuck. But yeah, it's such a blast. And, okay, so then after I flew around, like astrally, at the top, like near the ceiling for a long, long time, then he takes me down to almost, to ground level, so to speak. And, okay, so I said, then I was lowered to the ground, and over to the left, there was like a big door over to the left, which would have been way over here. Because I was flying that way, the left would have been over here. That's when I walked inside of a department store. Well, I walked inside of a mall, one department store. I walked into one department store inside of a mall. Well, the department store was just right there. And over to the left was a jewelry counter with a man and a woman. The woman was like right there, and the man was like right there. And that's when, like over to the left and to the right on a little shelf or whatever, I stole one little piece of jewelry. over to the right, I stole another piece of jewelry. And then the third time, that was actually sitting right on the counter near the lady. No. These displays were a little farther, was a little farther away from the counter. But the third time I stole something, it was right there on the counter near the woman. And that's when I picked up this big onyx marble horse, and it had chrome on it. Had like silver chrome pieces on it. And I know the alien's copying something. I mean, I know Joel was copying something from something I have in the house, or that I've seen recently. I just can't remember exactly, but he's copying that from, like from my brain, because I've had things like that in my house, or I've seen things like that before. But basically, the two pieces of jewelry that I stole was similar to this. Like, it was as big as it was similar to this. And I just found this in the jewelry, in my jewelry box, and I was like, oh, I forgot I had this. I don't even know who gave it to me. But it was similar to two little pieces like that. They were both about as big as that and that. The second piece, I can't remember exactly what it was shaped like, but they both was basically gold and diamonds. But the first piece was kind of like that. I stole that. And then another piece, and then the marble onyx horse. And it was white. And then it had a couple other colors in it, and then it had the silver chrome. And I'm trying to think what he was trying to copy off of, because I know he's trying to copy off something. Oh, I know what he's trying to copy off of. Oh my God, I just remembered. That little... Okay, yeah, he was trying to copy kind of like this. Except it was a big horse. It was like 6 inches tall, 6 inches wide, or maybe 5 inches wide, 6 inches tall. It was like marble onyx, except it was white. The horse was white. And like I said, it had a couple other little colors in it, but it was mainly white. And then it had some silver chrome pieces. And that part was funny. And what was I gonna say? What was I gonna say about the horse? But anyway, yeah, he put a horse also in that Blue Igloo experience. And the other funny thing was, I stole it, right in front of her face, and she was like, oh, you can have that. And I'm like, but I'm sitting here trying to steal it. I was thinking in my head, why is she giving it to me when I'm sitting here trying to steal it? I don't know why Joel created it like that, but that was hilarious. Yeah, like the woman, I literally just went up to her face and stole the horse off the little, whatever it was. No, actually it was sitting there on the shelf. It was just sitting there. It wasn't on a jewelry tree or anything. It was just sitting there. And I stole it right in front of her, and she was just kind of like, oh, you can have it. And I'm like, I'm sitting here trying to steal it, though. I'm not sitting, but I'm standing here trying to steal it. So that was funny, man. But Joel's a funny little boy. But yeah, so there's the 2 pieces of jewelry, and the jewelry counter, and the horse that I stole, and the jewelry I stole. And I think I pretty much said everything. Walked inside. Okay. But yeah, I pretty much said everything. I mean, I'm maybe, I'm editing a couple pieces out, but experiences like this, you don't forget any detail at all. Not these kind of out-of-body experiences. But, yeah, it was a blast, man. So that was my abduction by Joel to the awesome fly ride, so to speak. But it was a blast, man. I mean, it was a total blast. I'm going to try to ask for another experience in the morning so I can fly around and do backflips and stuff. But yeah, it was fun. Well, yeah, I mean, because it's kind of like when you're out of body, it's no different than like being in space where there's no gravity, you know what I'm saying? It's such a blast. Anyway, that's my experience to the fly ride. My out-of-body experience to the fly ride park, so to speak. Indoor park. Piece of jewelry. No, I gotta go fix lunch. Okay, let's see here. But yeah, I know now. It had to have been Joe that gave me that, the Blue Igloo experience. Cause like I say, because of the domed building, the domed igloo, I mean, and then because of the horse. So that was kind of cool. But I don't think I have any knick-knack horses. I might. Oh yeah, I do. Oh, yeah. See, he probably copied that. Or actually, is it a horse or a dog? I can't remember. Okay. Oh my god, it's real tight trying to get through there. Okay, the horse. I can't remember if it's a horse or a dog. Oh, that's a cat. Oh, never mind. He wasn't trying to copy off that. That's a cat. Oh, never mind. But I don't know where he gets the idea of horses, because I don't have any horse knickknacks or anything. But anyway, you know, they don't have to. They can put their own shit in there. They don't just have to go by your brain. You know, they can put their own little creative details and experience. They don't just have to be going by my brain. You know what I'm saying? They're creative too. But yeah, the little horse, it was, you know, very heavy, like onyx, marble, you know, and I can't even remember who gave me that. But anyway, thanks for listening.